Hello, welcome to Better.RedRoom podcast. My name is Naomi.
I'm Toph.
And this is season 2. We're back and better than ever. We've been gone for a little while, but don't worry. It's a new year, new us.
We're ready to be in your ears.
And we're going to be in your ears.
Yes, let's go.
Yes. Okay, so today's episode, we're going to get right into it.
Yeah.
Today's episode is on the Rap Map.
Yes.
And the Atlanta Rap Map is a project by a Georgia State student, a Georgia State alum, myself as well.
Brennan Collins, PhD student.
PhD student. Okay.
Yeah.
Was this like his thesis?
Yes, it was. It was about the digital ATL studies for the 50 years of hip hop.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So this was like the celebratory like project. Like I'm gonna put it all together.
Exactly.
I'm gonna see, the work that's been done.
He said, I'm African American.
And I live in
Let
Atlanta.
me go ahead and do it.
Period.
Yeah.
We love that for him.
Yeah, it was really
But
cool.
oh, sorry.
No, I don't got nothing else.
Okay. But I'm gonna get into the history of rap in Atlanta just in general.
Mm-hmm.
So rap kind of hit the streets in Atlanta around 82.
Mm-hmm.
The so-called one of the first rappers of Atlanta was a rapper named Mojo. And
Mojo Dojo.
yes, no,
That's all
literally.
I gotta say.
Back then rap was starting, so it was like those really weird and awkward rhymes, let's be honest.
It wasn't weird or awkward. They were doing a thing.
They were doing a thing, and it was ahead of their time.
They were telling stories back then.
They were rhyming, you know what I'm saying? Like they were like putting together.
To the store
and
I wanted to go get more.
No, literally, that's basically how it went. And Atlanta kind of didn't really have its own distinct style throughout the 80s and 90s. If you look like at Freaknik, a lot of the DJs in Atlanta were kind of
amazing though.
Freaknik was crazy, and I thought it like ended in like 96, 97, but like they still were doing it, and they're still trying to do it, but
it's not gonna work.
It's not the same.
Not in the Me Too era.
No.
Not in the fact that people don't know how to have no manners.
People don't have no manners.
And plus, people are not as fine as they used to be.
They aren't.
If you've seen those pictures, I was like, you know what? Okay.
But Atlanta didn't really have like its own distinct style, so they kind of drew from a lot of Miami bass music, and also I noticed like a lot of West Coast style music was influencing Atlanta artists at this time.
I feel like this is people are still like migrating.
People are definitely still migrating.
Yeah.
We talk about like, these out of towners are in Atlanta, like they were still migrating in the 80s, 90s.
Somebody had to come back.
Like somebody had to figure out like, hey, where we gonna stay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Little 5 Points was probably so cheap too.
I to this day I still think about that episode when we did the research, and like an apartment, like a 2-bedroom apartment in Midtown across the street from Piedmont Park was $75 a fucking month.
$75 a month.
$75 a month. That's my rent a week, which is, my rent is cheap as fuck, but that
across from Piedmont Park.
Across from Piedmont Park, 2 bedrooms.
That's crazy.
It's
French
actually
doors.
insane. French doors. The building is like what, 40, 50 years old?
Yeah.
And it's got that old school charm.
Probably got ivy on it. Yeah.
So
but
nice.
It's landscaped ivy.
No, literally. Yeah. But around this time Atlanta was still trying to figure out its style.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of stayed until about the 90s. The 90s,
like mid-90s for sure.
Yeah, the resurgence, or the Freaknik that we kind of know Freaknik was, because Freaknik really didn't start as just this basically black student spring break weekend for everybody to come to the city and act a fool and have fun through the streets of Atlanta. It really
started, yeah.
So Freaknik, I ain't talked to you about this. So Freaknik started as it was a picnic actually. So
that makes sense.
It was in the 80s. There were students from, we just call it the Spelman Morehouse University Center, Atlanta University, still at Clarkson. It was specifically these students from DC that just wanted to have this event because they weren't going home for spring break.
Yeah.
And so they were like, let's have a picnic and let's call it Freaknik. And so Freaknik didn't have like that, like you're like being nasty freak, but more just like we're having fun, crazy fun type freak. And so that's where
slightly
Freaknik,
more lighthearted.
It was lighthearted. It
And
was
then it
mainly
turned into
only
something else.
students.
It was
at Piedmont Park, and then then everybody and their mama decided to start coming, and it just was a hot mess.
Hot
mess in the sense that it tore the city up, not hot mess of like, oh, this is just debauchery, but low key kind of was, but not at the same time. A good debauchery, like they had a good time.
They had a good time.
They had a time. But yeah, that's how Freaknik started, and around the 90s when they were like when Freaknik that we know Freaknik of it.
So this was like 94, 95?
Yeah, mid 90s is when Atlanta kind of started to have its own style with the help of Dungeon Family specifically. So Outkast, Dungeon Family. Well, Dungeon Family is like the broad term, and then like Outkast is kind of like in there along with like,
Dungeon Family is a broad term?
So so think like Tyler the Creator, Odd Future.
Oh, so it's like a collective.
A collective, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Dungeon Family is a collective, and so the members of Dungeon Family is like Outkast, Janelle Monáe, Goody Mob, CeeLo Green, all of those people.
Oh, it turned into
Cool
like a record
Breeze.
label.
Yeah, so basically. And so because like the Dungeon was like the recording, like where we're at, this is Fillow Port. Yeah. But it was the recording studio in the basement of where Outkast used to live.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So yeah.
Dungeon Family. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It was in the dungeon, they a family.
Yeah.
Dungeon Family.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is kind of when the style that we know, like 90s Atlanta rap to be, that like kind of funky, underground, maybe alternative, but just like honestly kind of futuristic a bit.
Yeah.
Just like it
was ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its time.
It was in its own kind of bubble.
It literally was on its own little bubble. Yeah. Like there's this clip of Outkast winning Best New Artist at the I don't remember the awards.
NAACP.
No.
BET Awards.
It's called the something awards. It was a magazine that doesn't really exist anymore. Jet. They used to have I forget what it's called. It starts with an S.
Okay.
The something I forgot the name. But they won Best New Artist and they got booed. And they were like, oh, well, the South got something to say. That's what Andre said. Oh, and I forget what it's called, what those awards were called, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want to learn what the name of the awards were?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I asked our producer to do that.
LOL.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, are you gonna look it up?
I was, but you're good.
Yeah, no, okay, go ahead. Look
no,
it up.
No. Natalie got it. Natalie got it.
Source Awards.
The Source Awards. Yes, I knew.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Also, yes, it was called the Source Awards, and that was kind of like, it was like, we here to stay. We gonna do this.
The South has something
to say. The South has something to say.
I agree.
The South has something to say. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
To chime in, it was specifically because that was the peak time between the rivalry of the East and the West.
Yes, it was literally in the middle of the East-West Coast beef, and the artist that wins the Artist of the Year is a Southern artist, and they're like, where did y'all niggas even come? Where did y'all come from?
That's so cool.
He said we got something to say. That's
fire. That's fire.
And so that's kind of
we really did that.
Yeah,
I'm claiming the South, by the way.
I mean, I literally have no choice.
Oh, I have a choice, and I have chosen the South.
LOL. Anyways, so what research you got?
In terms of the Atlanta Rap Map, so there's actually a website called Atlanta Maps where you can build your own map. Like you put in your own data and you layer the information that you have on top of that. So that's the way that they were able to create that rap map that has all of the like the pinpoints. So we'll go ahead and link that in our show notes. So with the mid 90s and 1997, because you speaking of Miami bass reminded me of that song "Swing My Way" with KP and Envy.
So Def.
Yeah, because that's how we got that Miami bass sound. But it's Atlanta because it's still got that little twang.
It got the little twang to it.
That's what I'm saying.
They're from the South.
And with the South, okay, so for people at home, the reason why I can choose the South is because I'm not from here. I'm from
Connecticut.
Okay, you got to write this down.
Okay.
Because last time you said Wisconsin.
Yeah, that was very, very.
Yeah,
off.
it was a little far. Okay, but yeah, because I'm from Connecticut, my introduction to Southern music was like them Franchise Boys. D4L's Laughing Taffy.
The 07. Didn't you move down here in 07?
I moved down here in 07.
Yeah, like you moved right in the peak of like Atlanta
of like
music.
Southern snap music
literally.
On the radio.
Trap was just like really starting to.
Yeah, people just
we had
started to rap about trapping.
From like 04 to probably like 2017, 2018, like Atlanta really had the rap scene in a chokehold.
Everybody was trying to beat us.
And they couldn't beat us.
They really couldn't.
Sorry, not sorry.
No. They really couldn't though.
Yeah.
Like one of the songs that I remember moving down here, one of the first songs that I heard on the radio was that I don't even know who sings it, but it's like, do your chain hang low, do it wobble to the floor, do it shine in the light, is it problem, is it gold?
I want to say that's Gucci, LOL. Do your chain? I really don't know, I'm not gonna lie.
It actually might be Gucci. I don't think it is. But to be fair,
Gucci's not my favorite, unfortunately. I'm so sorry, y'all. Gucci just isn't my favorite.
East Atlanta Santa, volumes 1 through 5. Very good.
I was never really into it.
Good.
I really was never into Gucci.
Yeah.
Jeezy was my favorite Atlanta rapper. Growing up, stop playing with me.
For the longest time, I thought he was from New York.
LOL.
I swear.
No, Jeezy and T.I. were like my favorite growing up.
I really love T.I.
But I was a baby.
Yeah. Me and my cousin who used to live with us. Mm-hmm. We acquired the T.I. album.
Oh.
They got No One on the Corner Got Swagger Like Us.
Yes.
And that other Rihanna song that he got.
Yeah.
Exactly. We used to play that album on repeat. But we could only get like 4 songs in because we lived really close to high school and we didn't even really get to drive the car that often. But that was the only album that we had in the car.
LOL.
It was just that album. So I've listened to that album way too much.
Understood.
But yeah, that's the kind of thing that I think about when I think of Southern rap and like the no teens.
Yeah.
Walk It Out.
No, Atlanta has okay. So I don't think there's any other city that has as much like dance anthems as Atlanta. Yeah. Like I genuinely don't think there's nobody competing with us.
No, really.
Soulja Boy, are you kidding me?
All the Crank That's.
Are you sitting?
I don't care if Crank That Batman wasn't from us. That's us.
It's us because the origin was Soulja Boy.
And we claim Soulja Boy.
Yeah. Like from Soulja Boy. No, literally. From like, damn. Why can't I think of them?
I'm trying to think about what other songs that I was listening to. All the Snap Your Fingers.
Do your step. You could do it all by yourself. Let me see it. No, yeah. Lil Jon. Oh, Usher. We got to put Usher in there. Even though he's technically not a rapper. He's from Atlanta. Sierra.
Oh my
Ludacris.
Gosh. Sierra.
These aren't rappers necessarily, but like this was the hype of their career like around this time.
Ludacris's Chicken and Beer changed my life.
I literally don't even know what you're talking about. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what you're talking about. That's crazy.
Yeah, Ludacris, Chicken and Beer. I used to go to the after school program, right? And I would type it in, ludacris.com. And then it had the built-in songs. You know how when you go into a page and the song automatically plays?
Ooh.
And that was the only way I could listen to the album.
Oh.
Because I could sign into that page and I couldn't even like
and they didn't block
skip
it.
or nothing.
They didn't block it
they didn't
at
block
school?
It because it's...
That's so funny. That's a core memory. I mean, that is a core memory.
That's how I was listening to my hip hop.
Yeah. Wow. Oh.
But yeah, that was still in Connecticut, and I was still really fucking heavy with the Atlanta stuff. Oh, you know what? Another song.
Go ahead.
I think I already mentioned it, but Nuck If You Buck.
Oh yeah. Oh, how did we forget Crime Mob and Lil Scrappy?
Like when I tell you, I'll go to the Falcons game with my girlfriend's family, who may or may not also be the producer. I'll go to the Falcons game with my girlfriend. When I tell you Nuck If You Buck, it goes crazy.
It goes crazy. It's the anthem.
It goes crazy. And then another one, Swag Surf.
Oh yes, Stanky Leg.
Stanky Leg.
Oh,
Party Like a Rockstar.
Party Like a Rockstar. Oh, there's so many classics.
And then everything that Migos did, we claim.
Travis Porter.
When we thought it was one man, but it's 3.
It was 3. No, you should have seen me when I found out it was 3. Like I remember my cousin when I was in middle school. Yeah. She was like, "Yeah, my favorite rap artist is Travis Porter." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, they cool. Well, you know how many members is it?" I was like 3. She was like, "Oh, okay." Oh. I'm like, "Yeah, I know what I'm talking about."
I know what I'm doing.
Don't try and. That's like when a man's like, oh, you have a band shirt on, name me 5 songs. Don't do that.
Don't play with me. I can't name all 3 of them, but I know there's 3.
There's 3.
There's 3 of them.
The hell?
Yeah.
So no, yeah. The twerk scene from like what 2010 to like 2015. The like what's their names? Oh gosh, Twerk Team. Do you remember Twerk Team? The Twerk Team.
Yeah.
The Twerk Team was iconic. I don't know for sure if they're from Atlanta, but I'm pretty sure they're from Atlanta. I would not be surprised. We claim them. But yeah, that era in middle school.
Ray Strumming.
Ray Shrimmered, yes.
I know they from Mississippi or something like that.
But they signed with what? What's his name?
They signed with QC.
QC, but who was it? Who was it? I don't know.
I don't know who.
But somebody from Atlanta put them on, and they started their career like in Zaytoven. Zaytoven. I want to say
Zaytoven on the beat.
No, literally. Also, we have to do an episode on the producers of Atlanta. Like that's a whole like separate category.
So we can get that Metro Boomin in.
No, literally.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. Just think about like all the
songs in Atlanta that we can claim from Atlanta. That's about Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta can really talk their shit, can't they?
Yeah. The South does have something to say.
The South had something to say, and they said a whole bunch.
They said our whole.
They said we're gonna talk our shit.
Yeah. Right now, the South. Atlanta is trying to re-up and figure out their sound.
Yeah,
I think we're still developing what we want to do next.
We really are. The city, and I think I just did a project and a video on this that, I mean, it's kind of like my pros and cons of Atlanta, but the city is constantly changing and reinventing itself, which can be annoying in one sense, but also it just gives you another chance to kind of like experience a new city and a new culture and a new vibe. So like, even though in the 80s Atlanta didn't know really what their sound was, and they kind of came to it in the 90s, and then the 2000s was that dance era, that trap era. Now we're kind of entering that like really grunge underground alternative era, and it's just a whole nother Atlanta.
It's a whole nother
Atlanta. In another 10 years, it'd be a whole nother Atlanta. And then another 20 and blah, blah, blah. It's just, it just keeps going. In Atlanta, I don't think that there's a city that really does that in a way.
Not as like so like publicly and out facing. Like, like people still keep coming to the city. So our sound is going to continue to keep changing.
Yeah.
And that's just a matter of fact.
Yeah, and I think that's out of design of like how they want Atlanta to be, and like how Atlanta has just like kind of like culminated over the decades, honestly. I mean, everybody wants to be in the city that's the coolest city. Yeah. And I think that's
I mean, like,
really cool.
To learn more about Atlanta and to keep listening about where Atlanta goes in the next few years, continue to listen to Better.RedRoom podcast.
Check out the Rap Map. There's a whole bunch of artists on there, but the main ones that are on the list are going to be Childish Gambino, which he's from Stone Mountain. Stonecrest wasn't a city yet when he was, a youngin. Lotto, she's from Clayco. I think specifically she's from Morrow, which I used to be out there in Morrow. Rex. You were? Yes. Your girl lived all over Metro Atlanta.
Migos is from Gwinnett.
They specifically
is from Lithia Springs.
I didn't know that. Okay. Gucci Man is from Alabama, but he
East Atlanta.
He East Atlanta. Young Nudie. We forgot about Young Nudie. Also East Atlanta. Black actually went to my high school in Covington, Georgia. But he was homeless for a little. Six Slack.
Okay.
Yeah, Six Slack. Okay. He was homeless for a little while and then moved to the city, and that's where he kind of got his start of being an artist. So there's some really dope artists.
Great gems there on the
Atlanta Rap Map. Yeah. But again, check out our playlist that we're gonna post of our favorite songs. Do you want to shout out a few now?
One of my favorite songs, Fight Night by the Migos.
Yes.
I've never heard a beat so simple and so great.
So simple yet so great.
Laffy Taffy, of course, will be there on D4L, and then T.I.'s Rubber Band Man.
Okay. So first I'm gonna do Goody Mod's Cell Therapy, and then it's a new artist that I just discovered. What's his name?
A new artist on there?
Cool. Well, he's an old artist. He's an old artist that I just didn't know about. Okay. Cool Breeze, Creatine. That was really good. It was really, he's with Dungeon Family, and I was like really surprised.
Keep an eye out for that, y'all.
Yeah.
thank you so much again for listening to Better.RedRoom podcast. Shout out to the producers, Wyatt, Natalie.
Hey.
Yeah. Shout out to Fillow Studios.
Shout out to you for coming back to our next episode.
Yeah, season 2.